Afternoon. We received a call around 12:20 this afternoon in reference to a shooting here on Richborough Street. The victim, who unfortunately succumbed to his wounds, was shot. He was in his front yard. Before he succumbed, he had actually yelled across the street to a neighbor and had asked that neighbor to call 911, which he did. Our deputies had actually been around the corner. They got here immediately. They were looking at the house, trying to secure the house. At that time, there was a young lady who was inside the house. She was an adult. She comes outside. She's frantic, of course, because she just heard the shooting. Deputies grab her and pull her aside, make sure she is safe. While they were focusing on the house, a neighbor actually comes out. He has 2 magazines on him, and he acknowledges that he was involved in the shooting. His name is Qiu Feng, F-E-N-G-K-E-K. His date of birth is 3/14/57. The only record we have of anything between these 2 neighbors is that in 1991, Q was actually involved in an investigation with ICE. But we looked back in our CAD calls, everything that we had, there was nothing that showed any disputes, any arguments between the 2. But we're asking right now, any neighbors, anybody who has any information, please provide that to us. You can call us at 1-800-706-2488. I can tell you, we know who the people who were involved in this incident were. It is a very tragic day for the family, and we pray for them. At the same time, the person that acknowledges they're involved in the shooting is in our custody. This is one of those situations that, when you think you're going along your daily routine, a tragedy like this occurs. And so our heart bleeds out to the family. The suspect's in custody, but we're just trying to figure out, put the pieces together, why somebody would take a neighbor's life like this.
Is that neighbor being cooperative to you guys?
The suspect involved in this case, Q, he's actually speaking to us right now. Our detectives have him. He's cooperating, speaking with them. So what we're trying to do is put the pieces of the puzzle together, because this is one of those incidents that, people sit at home, they watch this, they read this in the paper, and they just go, why? In this world we live in, incidents like this, it's sad. You would think it never happens, but the sad reality is these things are occurring more often. It's really sad.
How scary is it that this happened out on a street in broad daylight in a neighborhood?
As I said, words can't really express how somebody at home who's living their lives are now seeing this on the news, reading about this, and the fact that, there could have been kids playing on the street after school. There could have been little toddlers out there going for a walk with their parents, but yet you have a shooting where somebody's life is tragically taken. Moments earlier, they're inside studying for an exam, doing work, and within moments, their life is taken from them. Their family is devastated, and we have a neighborhood now that I can understand is extremely upset. But to make sure everybody understands, there's no threat to the neighborhood. We have the person in custody, but it's unsettling. It's unsettling for everybody.
Ages of people?
The suspect was born in '57. The victim is in his 30s, and that's pretty much all I'm going to release, because the next of kin is not notified yet, and I'm not going to release anything yet.
Do we know what the dispute was about?
No, and that's why we're trying to put the pieces together. We don't, and that's what probably makes this even more disturbing. A lot of times people want a conclusion. They want to know, if they can find out a reason, it makes people more at ease. We have no reason yet. We have no understanding why somebody would just, neighbors would just take an action like that and take a life of another neighbor. That's what's unsettling for all of us. And I can imagine people at home, if you have a neighbor that you're not sure of, this is something that's tragic, where one neighbor just decides to kill another neighbor. And that's why I think, this brings a lot of spotlight on, neighborhoods. It puts a lot of spotlight on, the way our society is today. And if we just followed the golden rule and loved each other and took care of each other, things like this wouldn't happen.
At least the shooter had the gun. Did the victim have a gun as well? Did you find anything?
There's nothing in the investigation, as we've seen right now, that shows anything that the victim was armed or had anything in his possession of a weapon.
But you do think there was an altercation? This wasn't just one guy coming out shooting?
We don't know. That's the thing we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out why one neighbor went to another neighbor's house and took his life. We're trying to put those pieces together of the puzzle, because this puzzle just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why somebody would just go to a neighbor's house and kill him. So that's why we're asking, anybody in the neighborhood, if you have any information, if you said, oh, well, this had happened in the past, please notify us, because we have no previous calls in our record so far. We're digging, and we're digging deeper, and we're trying to find anything that would resemble a 911 call, a call to our dispatch center that would say there was a dispute before, there was something that happened. In our eyes that we have right now, there was nothing. And we're just begging the neighbors, if you could put the pieces of the puzzle together to give us resolution to find out why this occurred, we want to know that. But the suspect is cooperating with us, but we want to hear from multiple stories because there's multiple stories to be told.
Did the victim have any past arrest record?
No, the only thing we believe that we saw was some traffic, some tickets. There was nothing in there that showed there might have been any type of criminal activity going on.
Was that his daughter, his wife who was inside?
I don't want to give the relation right now because we will provide all that information shortly. I don't want to give anything out that could tip off to the family who's in there because the next of kin isn't notified yet.
But it was a loved one of some sort.
It was somebody that it was an acquaintance. It was an acquaintance of his.
Anybody in the shooter's house with him, or was he alone?
Everything we have right now is he was by himself.
Did the woman hear anything prior to the gunshots?
No, there's nothing. She didn't know what was going on. All of a sudden, he had gotten up, he walks outside, and then she just hears multiple rounds being fired.
Oh, so it was that fast?
Yeah, it was not as if he had gotten up, was gone for a long time. He'd gotten up from where they were studying from, walks outside, and was hearing multiple rounds.
So was he doing anything?
Oh no, he was studying. He comes to the door. Yeah. So the suspect wasn't as if the suspect was in his own home. The suspect actually physically walked to the neighbor's house.
So
Did
was
he
he
knock on the door?
Yeah.
I'm not sure at this time. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure how the victim knew he was at the door or outside his house, but the victim was inside his own house. The victim was studying. The victim gets up, goes outside, and that's where the woman who was inside the house hears multiple rounds go off.
So he just went to his front, like right outside his front door.
Yeah, he succumbed to his wound right outside of his house.
Can you spell his name again?
The victim, the suspect, I'm sorry, the suspect his name is Q-I-U, middle name is F-E-N-G, last name is K-E. Date of birth, 3/14/57. And for some reason I was told he may go by the name Joe, but I can't verify that. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you all very much.